What's going on, guys? Welcome back for another episode here on Let It Grow Investing. I'm Jeff. Thank you guys very much for stopping in. I was not here last week. A couple things happened. We're going to get into it. I really don't want to, but we're going to. And I just was not in the mood. So I took the weekend off. We had some busy weekends anyhow. And I just didn't really want to talk at that point in time. So yeah, I guess we'll dive right in, guys. This is going to be one to protect yourselves. This is going to be one as a reminder that there's bad people out there, there's bad actors out there. And unfortunately, I was hit by one of these bad actors. I've really struggled with trying to know what I should be doing here, whether or not I should talk about this on the podcast, whether or not me being on the podcast is putting myself at risk. Is there too much of my own information out there? Things like that, right? I didn't know if people were getting a hold of my information from here or not. And it kind of seems like it might have been a larger breach to where, or just data brokers selling off everyone's information, because I've had other people tell me that they've had similar phone calls, similar things happen to them. So I don't know that it's specifically just me or me being here that put me into, harm's way or at risk. So yeah, let's wind back. The last time an episode came out 2 Mondays ago, this is happened later that day. So yeah, I've been, getting busy trying to get everything ready for snow, which is a stressful time. I know a lot of people think, hey, you just hop in a truck or hop in a skid loader and you go to work, right? No, I mean, the business side of it, the contracts, the getting all your databasing, all your apps ready for your guys to log services, before and after pictures, to have pricing and, signatures here and everything ready to go, have your equipment ready, have everything serviced. It is a lot of time, money, and effort, and it kind of wears you thin, right? So yeah, I mean, you guys know I'm busy doing this, that, or the other. That's just kind of how my life is, which I'm just painting the picture as to where I was kind of mentally when this happened. So you might be able to relate if something happens to you and, hey, you've been swamped, you've been busy, working probably too much and just didn't even think straight. So yeah, it happened to where I was actually riding up to Pennsylvania, towing up a skid loader to trade one in and get another one and actually buy a second one. And this was day one of a 2-day kind of round trip. I could only take one at a time with my setup. So yeah, I had a lot of driving ahead of me, a lot of phone calls on the road, probably 6-7 hours of driving. Got home, kids off the bus, quick dinner, out to soccer practice. And then, hey, we're riding home from soccer practice. 7:30, I get a phone call. Phone call says that they are crypto.com fraud specialist and that my account is being hacked. Right. So I'm like, great. Just what I need at this point in time is to be hacked and have to protect my money. Right. So they're, hey, can we give you the case number? This way you can check it out. Decline these transactions when you get home, when you can actually sit down and take a look at it, because I said I was driving. And I said, okay, case number, got it, put it in my phone. And then I was like, all right, I'm home. And I was still on the phone with them at this time. So it was basically here's a case number, go to this website, put in the case number, and then decline these transactions. I said, all right, well, I mean, I'm not logging in from Richmond, Virginia, like they claim. They knew where I was logging in from. They knew my account email. They knew, like I said, where my IP address was, that I was in Maryland. They seemed to know everything that they needed to know, enough for me to think, all right, well, this is a real credible attack. So I go on there. I decline that I'm not withdrawing funds. I'm not trying to log in from Richmond, Virginia. And then basically it was, you have to change your password. And in order to change your password, you had to enter your password. And at that point, they were into my account. Yeah, guys, I mean, it wasn't something that felt illegitimate at the time. I've dealt with plenty of scammers. I mean, having a business phone number, everyone wants to try to send you out to look at a job. They tell you that they'll pay you $3,000 to do the job, but oh, by the way, you got to pay their painter, because their painter will only accept cash. So then, you pay the painter, they give you an extra $1,000, and then you pay the painter, and then they cancel the check or the transfer. I've seen those coming from a mile away. I've seen every other scam for whatever it might be, phone calls, and they just feel like scam or spam fraud type posts or phone calls. But this one did not. I don't know if it was like an AI recording. I mean, it was very well put together. It felt legitimate. So as they are transferring money out, I log in to my crypto.com account on the app and I watch this money being taken out of my account. Sickening feeling. It's completely awful. And I hope you guys don't have to go through it. So, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. But I just wanted to kind of bring awareness as to what is out there. Do not enter your password on anything, anywhere other than a known trusted site. Hindsight, I don't know how I made this mistake. I really do not. Crypto.com, they can't do anything because it was basically transferred to what they call a whitelisted account, basically a known account. They added themselves as a known account and approved it. So they can't stop it. And once the crypto leaves your account, it's gone. I mean, it's like dropping $100 bill on the sidewalk. It's gone. It's not yours anymore. So it's a long process of who you got to call, who you need to, make sure you're contacting all these agencies. So I've done all that, right? I've talked to the FBI, which then sends you to ic3.org, I believe it is. You go on there, you report what happened, but then, you're not done there. You file with I filed with the FTC. I filed with my state's attorney general, which was kind of a pain. The best one that I've talked to so far is actually the Secret Service that has a local department, and you go and talk to someone randomly, just you could sign a random agent, and they wanted my case number from IC3, and he was actually going to try to track down where this wallet address is. And then it's kind of a case of if crypto.com or any of your other brokerages want to go after these people and try to get this funds back. I don't have high hopes for that. I think I'm out the money. I don't think that it is just going to float back into my account. If it does, it might be 10 years. It might be never, which I'm kind of betting on never. But I mean, I guess it is what it is at this point. And that's why I really didn't want to talk about it last week. And I probably don't want to talk to you in person about it either. Truth be told, I really don't want to have a bunch of people, oh, hey, man, sorry about the crypto. I really don't even want that, right? So I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I'm trying to keep my head up. I don't want to relive it every day, but I do want to make people aware that this is going on, and it felt really real to me. And like I said, I've been through a bunch of these scam attempts, and I've never once fallen for one, and this one got me. And like I said, I don't know if it's a case where I'm tired and worn out and said, you know what, whatever I got to do to stop money leaving my account right now is what I need to do. I probably should have just hung up and checked on my crypto app as to, is this real? I didn't get an email, but I also wasn't checking my phone prior, right? I wasn't checking my crypto.com account. I wasn't checking my email. I literally was driving, towing, 10,000 pounds all day. Wasn't really on my phone, right? So now I got home, I headed right back out the door. I wasn't on my phone at all during coaching, right? I'm not on my phone while I'm coaching. So I'm not like actively checking to see if there was another problem. So then when I got the call and I'm in the car, I'm still really not checking my app, right? And I should have known better. I should have been checking for an email or any other correspondence, but I didn't. I tried to track down who owns this website, view.crypto.com, which is where, view-crypto.com is where they sent me. I can't find anyone who owns that. The phone numbers were Google Voice numbers that were based in California, which were canceled. About 2 or 3 minutes later, I tried calling back. They were gone. My father got a couple phone calls claiming to be a similar scam, and tried calling those numbers back. They were gone. So yeah, it's a whack-a-mole game. I know it's very hard for people to track down, and I think other than finding that wallet and knowing where that money's going, I think we're probably not going to see it. So I just really want to bring awareness to the issue. I know we've talked about other ways to store your crypto, whether it be cold storage or a ledger. That is going to be an external, USB type device that you can lock in a safe and have all your keys and keep them in a separate area. And I told you guys that I was trying to stake my coins for more interest, basically for holding the coins on the exchange. And some of it was staked, but I think it was all flexible, so they could withdraw that. It wasn't in a long-term lockup at this point because of the fact that the interest rates on holding crypto has gone down. I think it was more of a kind of trial entry offer to where you were getting 4, 6, 8% on some coins. Other coins you can get more, but Bitcoin, Ethereum, you weren't getting that much anymore, and it was tiered. You could get more on the first like 10,000, but then it would drop after like 20 or 25,000. And if you're trying to stake any kind of real amount in there, it wasn't really giving you too much. So I didn't really have anything staked at this point, except for some of the smaller coins that were paying a little bit better. But I believe those were also flexible too. So they made out with a good chunk of money. So this is more or less just trying to, again, bring awareness, make sure people aren't getting robbed. And I know things could be so much worse. I've tried to play every angle of this in my head. Like, I got a GoFundMe, like year end recap, and like the people that I had donated to that have lost loved ones or have kind of terminal cancers that they're like urgently trying to find treatment for. And then you see all these different horrible plane crashes and just awful stuff around the world. And I know that my problems could be much worse, and I'm trying to keep my chin up and know that I'm healthy, fairly happy, other than what's going on with this whole scam deal. And yeah, it eats up a lot of time. You're trying to make a lot of the phone calls. You're trying to, find a way. Am I protected any which way? Does my umbrella insurance policy, does that protect me at all? No, it doesn't. All right, so I'm making all these phone calls. Would LifeLock have protected it? Probably not, because it was a whitelisted address. So again, I don't know that you're going to get this money recouped, even if you have a lot of different insurance policies aren't going to cover it. So yeah, it's really a knowledge thing, right? Just knowing that there's a lot of things out there that can get you. And the best bet is don't take the phone call. Don't click on the link in the email. And I know I've got a lot of buddies in cybersecurity that are saying, like, how could you let this happen? I don't know, guys. I really don't. So that is the long and short of my Bitcoin, Ethereum, CRO scam, where they transferred it all into Bitcoin and sent it to an external wallet. And they walked out with a hefty payday for no work other than just scamming people. So yeah, protect yourselves. And it's not a crypto.com fault. I don't fault them at all. Would I wish that they could go after it more? Yeah, but I mean, it's again, it's like it's lost. Yeah, it's on the exchange. You know where it went to, but then I'm sure it hit about another 35 different Bitcoin addresses, and it's all into pieces and places everywhere around the world by now. So I have no idea even where to start. So yeah, we're trying to move forward, guys. We're trying to keep our heads up for the last part of the year. I know the market's been a little bit rough, and I'm going to try to get into my E-Trade and see what's going on here. See if I can go ahead and share this. We will bring up just what's going on in the market in the last couple of days, right? We'll try to be a little bit more upbeat. Anything's a little bit more upbeat than just losing tons of money. So even if the market's down, at least you still got your shares, right? So yeah, NASDAQ, man, we finished Friday nice. We did. I like I said, guys, I've been probably pulled away from this a little bit here, right? So yeah, we had this dip, but we're coming back up, right? And I think a lot of this is a lot of tax loss harvesting and people trying to sell out before the end of the year. And then, yeah, we're kind of coming back up. Maybe we'll call it a Santa Claus rally. I think the rally was probably more prior to this. And now we're trying to do a little tax loss harvesting, selling out of some positions, trying to make our customers, if we're hedge fund managers, think, hey, yeah, we locked in these gains for the year. We did a solid for you. We made you 40% on this. And yeah, that's what we did for you this year, right? So we got that. We've got Oracle is getting beat down. We have definitely seen Oracle just get punished in the last like 3 months, maybe. Let's go year to date, and we'll see what this looks like. We were sitting up near, we got up to 345 in September, and now we're sitting at 193. So yeah, definitely a haircut here on Oracle. I think the deal with TikTok and whoever else was buying into TikTok, I believe that is done. So I'm not too sure as to why this one's going down. I believe there was some sort of AI headwinds that they were facing. But yes, they are making moves with the TikTok purchase. So that has been done, I believe. So we've got that going on. We've got Nike stock moving lower as well. Now, Nike, I actually did buy some options, just some straight options on this, probably playing the market a little bit more aggressive at the end of the year here. Probably to use poker terms, I was a little on tilt. I wanted to try to make something out of nothing. So I'm trying to buy some options, and this thing dropping 10%, I think this is going to rebound because their quarter was not bad, right? Their quarter, they beat on earnings, they beat on revenues, upside pretty strong, right? And a lot of the problem here was the fact that they were talking tariffs. And where does China go from here? Where do we retaliate? And what do we ultimately have, right? So we're seeing, yes, decline in greater China sales in the second quarter. They lowered their price forecast on the stock. There are some holds out there. But my thought here is this is over dramatized, if you want, to the downside, right? I think this is just a way more overdone than what it needs to be. I think this is going to come back. So I'm thinking, I think I bought the $62 strike price calls for this thing, and I'm going to kind of monitor this thing. And if I can start making a little bit of money on some options, I will do that. I'm not going to get into this too much. I don't want to change my whole strategy or anything else. So I'm not going to rewrite the whole world. But yeah, we've got Broadcom. Broadcom did take a haircut also, man. This one I've been watching. We've been talking about this one, and I am buying some AVGO. I told you guys when it was above 400, and I said the wrong date. I said on December 1st, I thought they were reporting, and it was actually the 11th. They were at $405-ish, and now we're sitting at $340. So this thing has definitely come down. I don't think that Broadcom is in the least bit going to be a long-term laggard. I think going forward, I feel like this is still safe, right? We haven't really crossed down below the 200-day. Yeah, we're below the 50-day. If it goes below this 200, that's going to be a complete reversal. That would be a big problem. But I started buying here, right? I started buying in this 340 range and kind of hope that this thing's going to turn back around. So where are we on? Right, so analyst research on Broadcom, we're looking at around 34% of upside for an average price target of $455.63. We've got pretty good news on their earnings and earnings per share as well. I'm going to go ahead and share the Refinitiv report here. Currently on a buy rating, 660% of 5-year return. We've got a dividend about 0.8%, so nothing crazy there, but it is one that is being raised around 12% yearly. That is what we saw this past year anyhow. We've got annual revenue up 51% for 2026 and 106% growth by the end of 2027. And that is 106% from here until the end of 27. So not all in 2027, but cumulatively over that 2-year stretch. We've got, like I said, dividend growth around 12%, currently yielding 0.8%. Dividend payout ratio is fairly healthy at a 50.8%. And then when we get down to forward PE, we do see it is high, right? We're looking at a 34.9 on a forward PE metric, but people are willing to pay more for this stock for the growth that they are going to be putting up over the next 2 years. So it is higher than the average, right? It's about 53% of a premium to what we normally expect to pay on a forward PE metric for ticker AVGO. Now, we do take some of that into account here when we actually divide this forward PE, which is that 34.9, divided by the actual growth. So we are seeing more growth, which is going to bring this forward PEG ratio lower than what we are used to actually paying for it. So we've got a 5-year average of a 1.5, and a lower PEG ratio means that we are paying less currently for the future growth of this company. So that is a good thing. We want to see this PEG ratio lower when we do have a higher PE. That means we're not overpaying. We're not just kind of paying blindly for a stock that is trading up on no real earnings growth, right? But we do have the earnings growth to go along with it. So that is a good sign. We saw this back in 22, and then it kind of rallied and went the other way. But at some point, it's going to happen here again, where this PEG ratio is going to go above their 5-year average, and that means that it is not such a great time to enter into a position, or at least you are paying more for it than really where it historically trades. So if it goes any lower, that just means more and more people are going to buy it, and that's when you get those bigger swings, and it might go in the opposite direction. But currently trading down based on the numbers that we have going forward from this point. So that's good news, right? Let's get back over here. I'm going to pull up Micron. They have actually been on an absolute tear as well. This one has been doing phenomenal this year. We're currently at 265, up 7% on Friday alone, right? And it wasn't like the other days of this week were that bad, where it just had this a lot of room to run. But yes, there were some people coming out saying this should be a $500 stock in 12 months. I don't see it. I'm going to be quite frank with you. I don't see this thing going to $500. 3.25, maybe. 350, okay, you're stretching it. But 500 in a year from where we are is very much a pipe dream for me. I don't see that happening. But we did get a 500, and it was this week. Kevin Cassidy with Rosenblatt came out and said, it's a $500 stock, guys. And he's got a 72% success rate on Micron stock. Or this might be on all their stocks, right? This might be all their stocks, right? It says analyst success rate is calculated by tip ranks and reflects how often the analyst correctly predicted the price movement of a stock. So is the price movement just that it's going to go up, or did they actually get to 500, previous times before? Did they get the actual price right? So yes, I think some of these other targets being 330, 350, 300, I think those are a lot more feasible. Do I think they're in the right place at the right time? Yes, I do. I don't see this doubling from here after the run that they have already had, right? And this one, when it was back in April, I'm pretty certain I said this one should be purchased. I was buying it. I think I had probably 200-300 shares around $100. And then when it got up to 2 something, I believe I had a covered call and it took out 100 shares. And I've been building more of a position since, right? So yes, I had more shares. I made some money on it. They sold off, and I am trying to reinvest into some of these shares because I do think it's going higher. I didn't think it was going to go up this high this fast. That is the problem of the covered calls, is I just didn't think it had the room to run this much before. So could I be wrong again? Yes, but I was in the right trajectory of knowing it was going up to at least buy the shares in the first place. And when they doubled, I took some off the table. I don't want to be greedy. I'll take the money when it's handed to me after I made those smart investments at the right place. Oh, yes, I don't have as many shares, but I already took some profits and I'm playing with house money at this point. So all good there. But now we're trying to see if we can, make a little extra on top. So when we're looking at this thing, let's get back to, we'll look at this chart, right? We are finding some support off this 50-day. We see this thing moving back down to this 50-day moving average, and it isn't breaking it. So this is a solid trend of support. There is a small line of a 200-day here. I'm not too sure why this line is not complete, but it is not. We had a lot of buying, as we can see, going up 7% on the day. And when we even look at the 5-day or the 1 month, we will still see a fair amount of upwards trajectory. We were around 223 here, and this is in a month. So we're up 42 points in 1 month's time. That is fantastic, especially on a $200 stock. Maybe on a $1,000 stock, you could maybe see that on the regular, which we've seen on Eli Lilly. A $200 stock, that's a big, a lot more of a percentage move there versus a $1,000 stock, obviously. So, I'm in this one, and I'm trying to buy more. I'm trying to buy back more Google. Google got up to 3.25, came back down to like 307 right now. I did have that covered call that sold at 305. I told you guys I would be buying back down here if it got to 305, but I don't know that there's as much upside here. I think long term, this is a great play. But I think this one really ran too much, and it's kind of lost some of its edge right now. I don't think that it's out of favor or out of flavor of the week when it comes to what Wall Street's looking at. But I do think that it got a little bit ahead of itself, and I've had this happen times before where you want to buy in, and then yes, it's run so much that it's got nothing left to give you, and that's pretty much where I feel that Google stock has gone. Right, so 307 makes sense. A little to nibble. I really wasn't looking to buy much more, much higher. But now that we've come back down and we're kind of trying to form somewhat of a base here, I feel a little bit more comfortable nibbling here and there and getting back into this thing. My episode did cut out. I know that I talked about this, and I don't know if I talked about it on the part that I had to delete or if I already said it, but Nike options. Yes, I was buying some Nike options. There is some upside here. I don't believe I got into the upside. Currently around 37%. Some of these price targets are older. Yes, we had some tariff problems. Yes, China Nike sales are down. But yeah, we do see some holds at 70, buys at 70, buy at 77, hold at 62. So I'm thinking this could start to get some more traction after the holidays as well. And hopefully the U.S. market is strong enough to keep this thing growing, right? That's what we want to see, obviously, is more and more sales, better margins, and more earnings, right? That's essentially at the end of the day what investors are looking for. And those numbers that are outperforming even what analysts thought should have been better news than simply what's going on in China and tariff talk. So yes, there are those fears, but I think it was overdone going down another 10% on Friday. If you look back during COVID, man, if you look back on that 5 year, that's crazy. We have to go back 5 years now to see where this thing was during COVID. Yeah, we were up to like a 175 stock, and we have been on a terrible, terrible slide down since then, right? I mean, yeah, we had a little bit of run back up, probably like 22, and then we've just been just down and out on this thing, man. It's been brutal. So I'm not really looking to buy so many shares yet. I don't know where this thing turns around. And they didn't have terrible news this week on earnings, but I mean, as far as the numbers, yes, some of the, like I said, the China stuff was rough, but it's like they can't get out of their own way. And we've talked about them before not getting out of their own way. We've talked about Boeing. We've talked about Target or Starbucks or any of the other ones that kind of had the different agendas, and it just went sideways for them. Well, I mean, this one it's not only sideways, it's down. And it's just a terrible kind of story here. But I do think that we are oversold. I mean, yes, we had the 50-day cross above, but now we're back below. That could have been a good sign, but we broke it again. So it's hard to say what happens here. And yes, I was willing to take the risk on a couple of options, and that's what I did there, right? So this week, what do we want to be buying? I think I was buying in the Let It Grow Investing Challenge portfolio, even though I wasn't really reporting on it. I think I bought some more NVIDIA. Lilly, I know I was talking about Lilly, and it did go sub 1,000, but then it did break back higher, right? We saw this thing go to 1,071. So yes, this 3-month chart on Lilly is probably a roller coaster ride. I'm gonna shoot to say that's exactly what it looks like. Yeah, we're climbing and then we're falling, then we're back right back up. So it definitely looks like we're on this roller coaster trip together. And yeah, we did break above 1,100, and hopefully we can kind of nudge that line and break above it, and hopefully 1107 is not a massive ceiling of resistance. I think we're going to have some resistance there, but if we can break through it, we might find some ground higher. It's going to be tough to do that, though. It's going to be a lot of buying. We did go sub 1,000s, right? So we were, this is over 3 months, and we were from a low of, let me get back to the 3 month. We were at a low 763, high of 1107, broke back down under 1,000, and now we're trying to get back to 1,100. So it's been pretty rocky here, but in a better direction for Eli Lilly. So that one I haven't been buying. I did the buying when it was in the sixes, right? We were watching that one. NVIDIA, I definitely still like NVIDIA. I've been buying some more there. I've been buying some AMD. Let's just look at the analyst research and see where these numbers are. Yeah, NVIDIA, 43% of upside. AMD, I'm guessing less at this point because it is kind of already made that run. Yeah, 31%. We've got Tesla, man. Tesla's been in the news as well. They've been doing some good things, and people are saying full self-drive is going to take off massively for 2026. So, yes, there are some high price points of 600 on the street. We have a low price. Someone's still saying Tesla's going to $19. I don't know what to tell you, but I don't see that happening at all. I've told you guys I think this thing could potentially get to around 800 by 2028. I see that being potential. Could see this going in the threes. It's a roller coaster of a stock as well. And if you want to be on that roller coaster ride, I would probably wait a little bit more for a better entry here. I was buying, trying to add some shares, but I'm not really trying to go heavy in this right now. So I was buying in the lower fours. If I got that back down to threes, I would definitely be buying. But it's not to say that I haven't been purchasing, but I haven't been purchasing heavy. I've just been trying to average into this thing. I have been buying more Bitcoin. I'm trying to rebuild the position. I have also been adding a lot to Bitcoin ETFs that are held not on exchanges. And I know there's some risk to that. I know that's not necessarily that I own straight Bitcoin. It's not necessarily my keys, but it is a little bit more protected because of the way that it's held. That's not to say that I haven't bought more Bitcoin straight from crypto.com. And like I said, I don't think that crypto.com is the fault here. Could there have been a breach? Potentially. Could they have maybe done something to let me know that my information was out there? Possibly. I don't even know if they know that my information is out there. So I don't want to just sit there and point the finger at them. I want to take accountability for the things that I did incorrectly. And I wasn't diligent enough about what I was doing at that given point in time either. So again, I'm buying more Bitcoin because I think it is undervalued currently in the 80s. I still think long term that it's got a lot of validity, and more banks are trying to add it to balance sheets. So for a lot of those reasons, I still want to be adding, and I'm just trying to be smarter about it. So yeah, I'm still adding some more Bitcoin. So IBIT, I am buying BITX, which is a 2 times leveraged Bitcoin strategy, and that is, I think, at a fair valuation right now. I think, yes, we're down towards this lower portion of this range here. We did see it at $68.81 back in July, but it is leveraged. So if Bitcoin goes up 3%, this is going to go up 6%, but it also has that inverse effect as well. So if Bitcoin goes down 5, this is going to go down 10%. So if you like volatility, this could be for you. But it's not without its risk, right? It does have problems. It does have a high expense ratio. So it's not something that you want to hold forever. But I do believe that Bitcoin could run back up to the mid 120s. And then I think that would be a good time for me to get out of this thing, take those double gains, and redeploy that capital somewhere else. So that is my thought. I think we are at a low. Could it go lower? Certainly. It's Bitcoin. It can do whatever it wants. But I do believe that my thought process here is that it's going to go back up to that 120s within 3 to maybe 6 months. That's my thought here on Bitcoin, where it goes forward. So I've got that. What else are we looking at? Amazon. Are we buying any more Amazon right now? I don't know that there's ever a bad time to buy Amazon. Costco has been going down also. Costco hasn't really had the greatest performance. Some people say it's just overvalued to begin with. Amazon's got around 30% of upside, and Nvidia was 40%. AMD was 30%. Costco's 23%. Again, I think Costco's a safer play with what everything is going on out there. A lot of volatility in the economy, in politics, in the markets. Do you want something a little bit more safe? I could say, hey, lean on Costco a little bit, right? They are just a subscription juggernaut that just keeps making money by having those subscriptions. That is a lot of their business. I don't know about Next Era. That's probably fairly flat percent. I mean, that makes sense too, right? You're getting a utility company with 16% of upside, that's not bad. That's really not bad. A lot of people are really scared out of the market right now. Meta. I still really like Meta, but I don't know that we've got 40% of upside. Yeah, mid 20s. That makes sense to me. That's a solid pick as well, right? So I mean, if I'm looking here, I'm narrowing it down to Nvidia off my short list of the 12 or 13 names that we could potentially be buying for the Let It Grow Investing Challenge for this year. I would limit it down to Nvidia. I would not be buying Tesla right now. I would buy Meta. I would buy Amazon. I'm not buying Lilly. I could buy NextEra. CrowdStrike is a little too high for me at this given point in time. You're still getting 17% upside, but why would I do that when I could buy Amazon with 30% upside, Costco with 20 some percent of upside, Bank of America? I haven't really checked in on Bank of America too recently. 7%? No, that doesn't do anything for me. I'd rather buy NextEra for a similar type of return. Generally, I don't know that either of them is going to be a double up over a year, right? You don't normally think of those two doing that. I would probably rather buy NextEra at this point in time for the amount of growth that they have, and AMD in the 30% as well. So, I guess to recap, AMD, Costco, NextEra, not Lilly. I would buy Amazon. I would buy Meta. I would buy Nvidia. The fact that I've just bought Nvidia, Meta, and probably Amazon, I say maybe we go to like a Costco this week just to kind of distribute some of the money. We're going to be buying, I guess I'll say it. We're going to buy Costco, right? We got 23% of upside. It's off of these highs pretty substantially. It's been coming down. It's under the 50-day. I don't see a 200-day on this chart. Where are we on any of the other metrics here? PE's high. It's always high. I normally see this thing in the 50s, though. If we're looking at, let's take a look at Refinitiv and see just what they're saying. They have it as a buy. We are going to be looking at 133% return over 5 years. We've got how much upside here? 20% from them. Things tracking up and to the right. We'll take it. About $2 up per year for the next 2 years. So again, nothing that's going to, make you a millionaire overnight, but I think it's a slow growth that has been tried and true and very effective at what they do. Annual revenue, 8% and 16%. So 8% per year. I mean, that's clockwork gains, right? So very smooth trajectory higher for Costco. People generally don't cancel their memberships. They have very high customer retention. Dividend growth, 12% per year. We saw that with Broadcom, the current dividend yield at 0.6. It also kind of reminiscent of what we were talking about with Broadcom. Fairly valued, right? 1% premium on their forward PE. Where is this PEG ratio? Oh, PEG ratio is at 4.8. Maybe I'm not buying Costco. I think I always get down to this one and I'm like, I don't want to pay that. I could be buying Nvidia at like a 0.9. Why do I want to spend the money on Costco? And I know it's convenient. I know it's a comfortable stock, but man, I don't want to spend that much on the growth that they're turning out. So we're paying a 41 PE, but we're only getting 8% of revenue gains. Granted, I'm not really comparing this to revenue gains. We're looking at the growth rate of the company. So we're probably more looking at the actual earnings, but we're not getting the growth. So maybe I backtrack this one and say, do we want to look at NextEra? We're going to go through the steps as to what we should be doing and see if NextEra makes more sense or if we just keep buying tech. I was trying to get out of buying tech this week, but maybe tech just needs to be bought. Maybe that's the play. So if we're looking at Refinitiv, let's see here. We've got, I'm going to share this one. Sorry, guys. I always forget. We are going to share this stock report of NextEra Energy. We're at a buy. 5-year return looks awful, 8.5%. That's not anything great. Can we get out of that? 11% of upside on price target. Revenue came down for 23 to 24, but now we're moving back higher. 15% of annual revenue growth for 25. Another 12% tacked on next year. 10% dividend growth, 2.8% dividend yield. Dividend payout ratio is at a 71, but it's a utility, so I'll let that slide. 15% discount on forward PE. What is our PEG ratio here. It's also higher than a 5-year average at a 3. You know what? I think I just need to buy some tech. I think that's going to be the play. I bought NVIDIA. I think we bought Meta. Maybe we go back to, and no, Amazon's a heavy position too. Maybe we look at more Meta. Maybe that's the best pick we have right now is simply buying Meta stock, and we just keep averaging in heavy into Meta. So if we do that, if we go here and we're looking at Refinitiv when it comes to Meta stock or Facebook, Instagram, let's take a look here. We've got to buy 5-year return, 140%. We like it. We are at 5 upgrades, 2 downgrades, 25% of upside. Kind of thinning out here for 25 into 26. Not monumental gains. Annual revenue up 21% for 25 and then 43% for 26. So we got revenues going up about 22%. We've got dividend growth of 38%. Granted, they haven't been paying a dividend long. And it's only 0.3%, but it is a very, very low 7.3% payout ratio. Could this just be a cash cow at some point that is just waiting to pay us more in dividends? Potentially. 4% premium, but that PE is a 22. I think that's pretty fairly valued for a company like Meta. We've got forward PEG ratio is a 1.9, so not as screaming of a buy as I thought, but I'm still going to go with this one. It's cheaper than Next Era on forward PEG. It's cheaper than what were we looking at? Costco on forward PEG. So I think we're going to lean there. It is a fairly large position for us, but not as much so in the investing challenge. So I am comfortable buying this one. This is what we're looking at for probably the final Monday of, no, I guess we have 2 more Mondays. But yeah, one of the final Mondays of 2025, we will be buying Meta stock. And yeah, guys, be safe out there. Have a safe and happy holiday, whatever you might celebrate. And thank you guys for stopping by and listening to my TED Talk about not getting scammed when it comes to crypto or anything else. There are ways to check on your broker, probably if a web address, if a cell phone number or a number or an email address is a known affiliate of the exchange. So if I would have gone on and put this fake Google account number into crypto.com, they would have told me right then and there that no, this is fraudulent. Check that for yourself. Check every which way you can before ever entering anything, clicking on any links, putting in your password or anything else out there. Just try to be as safe as you can when dealing online. There are more and more sophisticated scams. And yeah, they're trying to get your money. So try to protect yourselves. Do whatever you can. And yeah, be safe out there, guys. Thank you very much for stopping by. I will talk to you guys next time. Take care.